everybody, welcome in. I am managing editor Santana Wood. We are here for another night of TPI Talk Nightly News Edition to give you your latest coronavirus updates and local news. And I've got a special guest with me here tonight. I've got Dr. Shantae Ruffin of Heritage Pediatrics joining me. How are you, Dr. Ruffin?
I'm doing well. How are you, Santana?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know that during this process, this is something that's new for everybody for sure. Something that we know does not affect children as much. But have you seen any, possible coronavirus cases in Alexander City or any increase in flu-like symptoms or anything like that with children?
Actually, I have not. When the pandemic started, we implemented screening questions in place when patients called the office. And we really didn't have many patients calling with febrile, illnesses. Coronavirus is a virus that's, not new to pediatrics, but this novel strain is, and we don't know much about it. But, if kids do have it, their symptoms have been very mild or no symptoms at all.
Right. I think it's about 3% is 18 or less in the state at this point,
Right.
as far as positive cases. I know that it's changed the way that your office has worked. I mean, the way that you are treating patients. Tell me a little bit about that.
So we had to, kind of get creative and implement some new ideas when this pandemic started. A lot of parents were, afraid to come into the doctor's offices because they're afraid they may contract, coronavirus. So what we did at our office, and I think most of the offices in town have kind of, followed suit with doing the same things. We have cut down the traffic in the waiting area. No one is allowed to sit in our waiting area. Like I said earlier, we screen patients when they call to make sure that they're not running a fever prior to coming into the office. If we do have some who are coming in for minor illnesses, we have the rooms separated for the well visits and the sick visits. Another thing we have implemented is telemedicine. It's kind of like what we're doing right now. We're talking via FaceTime on the computer, and parents have really enjoyed or appreciated that convenience of being able to be at home and not, risking the chance of getting out into the community.
Certainly. You being a local pediatrician, I mean, what is something that you recommend to parents during this time just to keep their kids healthy?
I'm recommending to my parents, I'm still seeing those well babies in the office because we still need our babies to get their vaccines so we can, keep preventing those vaccine preventable illnesses. But some of the things that I do recommend and some of the things we stress on our Heritage Pediatrics page is to make sure we're practicing good hygiene. That's just good to do anyway to prevent the spread of germs. Make sure they're washing their hands for at least 20 to 30 seconds. They can sing the ABCs while they wash their hands. And a lot of things, one thing I think we don't think about is removing that hand towel in the bathroom. Keep using the same hand towel. There's a possibility that you're still contaminating yourself in case the kids aren't, washing their hands correctly. We still promote that they get enough sleep at night, that they still exercise, that there's still a routine in place. If you do have parents that are working outside the home, such as myself, make sure you take those precautions when you come home. I leave my shoes in the garage and I immediately go and take a shower before I interact with my family.
Definitely. And what about, a lot of kids out of school at this time? I mean, everybody's out of school.
Mm-hmm.
At home, needing some interaction. It might be really tempting to go play with the neighbors or get a group together and have a children play date. What do you advise parents do instead of that?
I advise parents, I'll I'll use myself for example. I have 4 children, so it's okay for them because they can play with each other. But some kids are only kids, or they have older siblings who may not want to interact with them. So I recommend to look into doing virtual play dates. There are a lot of activities online. And a lot of ideas online that can help kids to remain engaged with their friends and even their distant relatives that they have not seen in a while. Some of the ideas that I've seen are charades. You can, have a virtual show and tell. You can tell jokes. You can have a magic show. So it's good to get those creative juices flowing and let that imagination flow, with the kids.
Definitely. There's a lot of things that you can do during this time and just kind of appreciate the fact that you've got time to do it with your children, spend
Right.
time with them, such as that. Before we go, Dr. Ruffin, is there any last message that you want to get out to parents during this pandemic?
One of the things that I thought about earlier today when I was preparing for this is, I worry about the mental health of our children during this time. Their routines were interrupted. They didn't have any closure to the end of the school year. And we do have kids who suffer from anxiety and depression. So I kind of worry about those kids that we have not been able to see in the office and, thought that this week we may reach out and do some mental well checks to make sure our patients are doing okay. So, I encourage my parents, if you have kids who, have anxiety or depression, reach out to your pediatrician to make sure that they're doing well.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you so much. I know that so many parents appreciate hearing from you. Being a pediatrician here in Alexander City, founder of Heritage Pediatrics, definitely trust your opinion. And I know how it's like being a pediatrician and also having 4 children as well. So
Yes.
we definitely value your opinion, and thank you so much for coming on tonight. We really appreciate it. Again, this was Dr. Shante Ruffin with Heritage Pediatrics of Alexander City, and we're going to cut to a quick break, and we will be right back. Hear from our sponsor, Russell Medical Wound Care and Hyperbaric Medicine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ruffin.
At Russell Medical Wound Care and Hyperbaric Medicine, we want you to know we're open. We take COVID-19 seriously and have put precautions in place for the safety and health of our patients. Don't delay treatment. Wound duration lasting more than 30 days is less likely to heal naturally. We treat all types of wounds, cuts, and burns, so intervene early. Wound care is critical. Call us today.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. I'm Lizzie Arbogast, sports editor here at Tallapoosa Publishers, again, alongside managing editor Santana Wood. And we definitely do appreciate all of our guests that have been on and Dr. Ruffin this evening for giving us some good advice. That's something that I think we definitely need to hear from time to time. And I thought about when she said something about replacing your washcloth, your hand towel. I felt personally attacked because I thought about that and I haven't replaced my hand towel. So I will tonight, Dr. Ruffin, I promise.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that just little things like that are something that not everybody thinks about. It's, when it gets down to it, it's just the basic hygiene of things and something that I think we can all do very easily. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to dig into our statewide numbers. There are now 6,539 confirmed cases of the coronavirus here in Alabama, and that's an increase of our last show. Wait, I'm sorry. This is an increase of 286 since Saturday.
Our last show, whenever we updated you guys, the numbers hadn't updated all day on Friday. So that's an increase of 286 since Saturday once the Alabama Department of Public Health did update those numbers. Also got a bit of an increase locally as well. Tallapoosa County added 7 confirmed cases since Saturday, now at 275 cases. Coosa County also added 1 case since Saturday, now at 30 confirmed cases. And Elmore County saw a couple cases increase as well.
Yeah, they are now at 79 confirmed cases there in Elmore County. They were kind of staying strong at 74, but that number has now grown. There's also now 17 deaths in Tallapoosa County, as well as 1 each in Elmore County. In Coosa County, we have been asked a lot about recoveries and can we get those numbers? And obviously we want to bring you guys that. And so we did reach out to the Alabama Department of Health, and they said that that's something that's in the works. So hopefully we'll see that soon.
Yeah, they said that, that's something that they're working on. Really hopeful to have that recovery category at some point in the future to be able to share with everybody how many people have recovered from the coronavirus. We also want to dig into some Tallapoosa County news tonight. Governor Ivey is expected to have a press conference at 11 a.m. Tuesday morning. And we got some guidance from a local state representative on kind of what to expect there.
Yeah, so Ed Oliver out of Dadeville said that he had talked to some people in that task force, and Governor Ivey believes that it is going to be sort of a slow rollout of reopening the economy. Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth had previously presented some recommended phases, and Ivey has been adamant about making her decisions based off of actual data and testing capacity, not necessarily a certain timeline.
Yeah, so we will see what she says tomorrow at 11 a.m. and you can definitely check all of our websites. We will have that update as soon as we know what's going on from the governor as far as if the stay-at-home order will be lifted or extended or what's going to happen there. We also got a little bit of a storm-related update here in Alexander City, Tallapoosa County. Cleanup is still happening across the area. And county officials have prepared all the necessary materials as far as documentation and photos to be considered for a disaster declaration from FEMA.
Yeah, so the Tallapoosa County EMA director is working with other officials to get all that information. You can find out a little bit more about that in the Outlook tomorrow. Also want to throw in some sports news. Some big stuff is happening in the sports world, surprisingly. But I did want to talk about that a little bit. Dadeville's Anthony Jennings got drafted on Friday night. So got to talk to his mom a little bit about what the draft was like. So you can look out for that. And Dadeville also named a football coach finally. Roger McDonald was named the football coach about an hour ago. So we're excited about that. And you can learn more about him tomorrow as well.
Definitely. I know everybody's really, really ready to have a Dadeville football coach. So I'm excited to see how that works out. I know it's everybody's excited to have a new face and finally have someone in place there. So good news.
Good news. We like good news. Over in Elmore County, the Kelly Fitzpatrick Memorial Gallery is looking for artists to create and share pieces of art that are inspired by COVID-19.
Yeah, pretty cool. So it's an online art contest. It's called Treasure Hunt 2020, and it basically aims to depict through art what people have experienced while living through this pandemic. Project coordinator Carol Hickman said the idea is for artists to just really commemorate all what everybody's going through and kind of just display that through art. So you can definitely read more about that in the Wetumpka Herald on Wednesday as well.
Yeah, so over in Tallahassee, Johnny Mayer Hammock said that he is in favor of lifting the stay-at-home order and is hopeful that that's kind of what Governor Ivey announces Tuesday. He said that people do need to get back to work, but it does need to be done safely, which is obviously, what the governor is going to be aiming for, we all hope.
Yeah, definitely. He said, it would be very important to still practice that social distancing. Anyone who's vulnerable, continue to stay home is what Mayor Hammock said. And you can view more in a video of Monday with the Mayor online at Tallahassee Tribune website right now. We also want to share a myth versus fact for y'all tonight. Something that we've seen a lot of are these COVID toes, red frostbite like purple toes as a symptom of the coronavirus. And this is something that podiatrists are looking into, but there's a very small amount of reports, and it's not something that has been officially named a symptom of COVID-19 by any means.
Yeah, so the CDC did recently add 6 new symptoms of the coronavirus, such as fever, cough, shortness of breath, difficulty in breathing, chills, repeated shaking with chills, muscle pain, headache, sore throat, and loss of taste or smell. But obviously, frostbite toes has not been added at this point, according to the CDC.
Correct. We also want to give y'all a little bit of feel-good news. And on a good note tonight, saw something really great over the weekend. Alexander City Methodist Church pastor Wayne Cowick got a special surprise on Sunday. His pews were actually filled with faces not physically, but he and his choir are used to preaching and singing to that empty physical congregation during this social distancing time. And some local church members on Sunday actually taped photos of church members, even where they actually usually sit in the pews, and actually socially distance the photos as well. But just to kind of lift the spirits of Brother Wayne and the church choir as well.
Yeah, I think that's really awesome. I'm a big fan of Brother Wayne. He does a lot for not just the church. He's also, with the football team. So I'm glad to see that, he got his spirits lifted. I know it's a tough time for people not being able to go to church regularly, is certainly difficult for all of us.
Definitely. And preachers are huggers, they say.
Yes.
And it's just really, really hard for them right now. So that was really cool to see. But as always, we want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight to hear from Dr. Ruffin and also get the latest coronavirus update and local news update from us as well. We couldn't do it without our sponsor, Russell Medical Wound Care and Hyperbaric Medicine. Really appreciate their support. And we will continue to be here every weeknight at 7 p.m. to give you the latest updates. And we appreciate y'all. And we will see you later. I am Santana Wood, Managing Editor, alongside Lizzie Arbogast, Sports Editor. Y'all have a good night.